It was the year 2025. It was the first time Lionel Messi had agreed to give such a long interview after retiring from football. The concept was a father-son conversation. On the other side of the table sat Thiago Messi, now a young adult. He was someone who grew up seeing jerseys full of trophies worn by his father, but rarely understood his inner world. Towards the middle of the program, there was a warm atmosphere where everyone was laughing, talking about memories. Until the moment Thiago reads one of the cards he has picked up. The question was simple, but it carried a deep shadow. Have you ever won an award that you don't think you really deserve? The atmosphere suddenly became quiet. Before Messi smiled, he did it as if he did not understand the question. His eyes shifted beyond the production lights into the past. Thiago didn't say anything, he just waited. They were not father and son at that moment. At that moment, one was an accountable conscience. The other was the owner of a burden that he had been hiding for years. Messi nodded. "Yes," he said at last, almost in a whisper. "It happened once, and I think I'm still carrying the weight of that day." Thiago looked up. "What reward?" Messi responded slowly. "Ballon d'Or. Iseo Nisibilnion." There was a brief murmur in the studio. Everyone was confused. That year, Messi won the Ballon d'Or for the 7th time. It was his first season at Paris Saint-Germain. He had won the Copa America. But the discussions were never over. Some people thought Robert Lewandowski deserved it, others Jorginho. But Messi never spoke, except for that thank you speech that night. "That year," said Messi, averting his eyes from his son, "I won because people were emotional. They had been waiting for a trophy for years, and when it finally came to the Copa America, everyone wanted to reward it. But I know. There were better ones that season. Maybe I shouldn't even have been in the top 3. Thiago looked into his father's eyes. "Why didn't you say anything then?" Messi smiled. It was a bitter smile. "Because sometimes silence is stronger than applause. That night, everyone was happy when we lifted the trophy. But I silently apologized inside, from someone whose name I didn't even mention. And at that moment, the door opened to a story that he had not told to any journalist, television, or even to his friends for years. Messi wasn't just a big player anymore. At that moment, in that studio, with that question, he had begun to describe himself as a human being in his most naked form. Thiago fell silent. He left his notes. "Will you tell me about it?" he said quietly. Messi closed his eyes. He took a breath, and it began. "I have to go back months before the 2021 Ballon d'Or night." The year 2021 was a bumpy one for the football world. Last season, in the shadow of the pandemic, had changed the fate of many players. Messi, on the other hand, had become a legend in Argentina by finally winning the Copa America. That image, the moment Messi embraced the trophy on the Maracanã grass, had resonated all over the world. Everyone was saying that this trophy was his crowning achievement after years of criticism. But someone else was also quietly making history that year. Robert Lewandowski. Bayern Munich's goal machine had already broken Gerd Müller's record with 41 goals in the Bundesliga. In every match, there was not only football on the pitch, but discipline, strength, and ambition. Moreover, he had also put in an outstanding performance in the Champions League. But on the night of the Ballon d'Or, when his name was mentioned in the second place, he just smiled. Messi even looked at Lewandowski out of the corner of his eye when he was on the stage that night. There was no anger in his eyes, but there was something else. A look that says, "Okay, this was your right." A week after the night, a special charity organization was organized in Paris. Messi was also in attendance. Away from the crowd, someone was waiting in the dressing room. He stopped when Messi came in, because there he was, Lewandowski. No press was invited. This was just an internal encounter. "Congratulations, Leo. Lewandowski said politely. Messi nodded. No, he said quietly. Not for tonight. For that night. Lewandowski stopped. A confused expression appeared on his face. It was your right, Messi said. Everybody knows that. Me too. Lewandowski did not respond. He was silent for a moment, then he started this sentence. Sometimes the things you don't earn make you stronger. I didn't think I lost that night. I just felt like I wasn't visible. Messi bowed his head. That's why I wrote your name on the bottom of my Ballon d'Or trophy. Lewandowski's eyes grew wide. Really? Messi smiled. Yes, but I won't tell anyone, because some apologies belong only to one person. After that night, the two actors never talked about it again. But Messi kept the trophy not in his house in Paris, but in a special safe in Barcelona. In his eyes, that prize was more a memory of regret than an achievement. Now, years later, the key to that safe was still in Messi's pocket. And maybe the real reward inside that safe was an inner confrontation. Thiago was silent for a while. The cameras, microphones, lights in the studio seemed to freeze at that moment. Every word that came out of his father's mouth was like a confession, not just a story. For a figure like Lionel Messi to say, I didn't deserve, for an award he lifted with his own hands, it meant more than a trophy. Thiago looked at his father's hands. They were hands that had created miracles in the eyes of millions for years. But now, he was just carrying a father's burden. Do you still keep that cup? He asked. Messi nodded. Yes, but I don't look at him as a trophy anymore. He's a reminder. It's a symbol of what I need to learn as a person. So, has Lewandowski ever explained this? Messi smiled slightly. Number, because some silences are more valuable than the loudest applause. Thiago hugged his father. I am proud of you, not with your trophies, but with your heart. Messi's eyes filled. At that moment, the silence he had carried for years seemed to dissolve. Football, for him, was not just the game on the field. Sometimes the pain of what they lost left more traces than the joy of what they won. At the end of the program, Thiago added the following sentence. I want to say something to everyone who is watching this broadcast. Heroes make mistakes too. But what makes them great is the courage to face those mistakes. Messi bowed his head. The last sentence that went through his heart just passed through. Some rewards are won not in trophies, but in forgiveness. And on that day, perhaps for the first time, Messi really won.